Regulating artificial intelligence usually involves degrees of nuance. We weigh utility against potential harm to find a workable middle ground, but the courtroom operates differently. In high-stakes legal environments, the judiciary demands absolutes. Standard AI governance models, like the EU AI Act, use a sliding scale approach to classify tools by risk. However, the Indian Supreme Court's draft regulations for AI in the judiciary throw out this scale entirely. This sector-specific framework relies on a strict binary gate. Chapter 3 of these draft regulations outlines a strict, rule-based logic system. AI is either explicitly permitted with human oversight or strictly prohibited. There are no gray areas, no acceptable margins of error, and no derogable clauses. By stripping away the subjectivity of a risk assessment, the court intentionally sacrifices regulatory flexibility to build an impenetrable wall around judicial integrity. These regulations applied across both the administrative offices and the actual courtrooms of the Indian judicial system. The core objective of Chapter 3 is to enforce a functional firewall between two distinct realities: the daily friction of administrative efficiency and the finality of a judicial outcome. The entire text is built around a single axiom: human determinative authority must remain the sole driver of all adjudicative decisions. Under this logic, an algorithm is only allowed inside the courtroom if its mechanical outputs are completely incapable of altering a citizen's legal rights. This matrix illustrates Regulation 1's permissible domain, strictly limiting AI to administrative and assistive tasks. Efficiency functions snap into the zone: case management, defect scrutiny, and auto-generating notices. Accessibility tools also enter this space, including text-to-speech, Braille translation, and conversational chatbots for litigants. But a critical caveat attaches to every permission: a strict human-in-the-loop mandate for all AI operations. In practice, human checkpoints appear at the end of automated workflows. For example, automated court transcriptions require a designated officer to manually review and certify their accuracy. The same rule applies to document translation. An algorithm can translate a pleading, but a human must explicitly verify its accuracy and fidelity to the original text before it enters the record. Even though these tools are legally permissible, the framework treats their outputs as legally inert drafts. They hold no weight until a human officer validates them. Regulation 20 establishes an absolute firewall down the center of our matrix, creating the adjudicative domain. The first threat vector is due process. Prohibiting AI from performing adjudication, sentencing, or finding facts, the algorithm simply bounces off the adjudicative domain's wall. As a secondary due process measure, AI-generated outputs cannot be submitted as independent evidence without transparent disclosure. Next, addressing profiling, the use of AI for risk scoring instantly shatters against the firewall. No algorithmic evaluation of bail eligibility, no software assessing flight risk, no predicting recidivism, and no automated determination of credibility. Addressing privacy and opacity, the court explicitly bans undisclosed black box systems that might affect personal liberty, shutting them out entirely. The regulations further prohibit training models with personal data without prior approval, and expressly ban continuous AI surveillance of officers or litigants within court premises. Assessing a person's credibility, predicting their future behavior, and determining their liberty are profound moral judgments. The framework institutes these bans because algorithms, lacking human context, are unfit to render them. Having established the boundaries of the rules, we have to look at how they are actually enforced on the ground. Zooming out from the matrix, we find the appropriate authority. This brings us to the critical enforcement mechanism. What happens when a system breaches the firewall? The architecture places the AI Secretariat at the top of the hierarchy. This central oversight body serves as the ultimate reporting authority. If a violation of Regulation 20 occurs, say an unauthorized algorithm attempts to profile a witness, it must be reported forthwith to the Secretariat and the AI Committee. Upon identifying the breach, the committee bypasses standard procedures and authorizes an immediate remedial measure. The connection is instantly severed, suspending the offending AI system. Structurally, if the initial approval process was centralized to a singular technical committee, enforcement would be highly efficient. A suspended vendor could be simultaneously removed from all connected courts, rather than relying on piecemeal reporting from distinct jurisdictions. The integrity of the court relies entirely on its ability to swiftly amputate non-compliant technology before it infects a judicial outcome. Under the Supreme Court's draft framework, artificial intelligence is granted a very specific role: an optimized, heavily supervised administrative clerk. It will never act as judge, it will never issue a sentence, and never profile human behavior. For legal tech vendors building for the Indian market, compliance now means prioritizing transparent, human-gated workflows over pure algorithmic autonomy. By drawing a hard binary line across the legal process, the Indian judiciary sets a clear precedent. It accepts the efficiency of automation while ring-fencing the application of law, liberty, and truth as exclusively human domains.